What's up, you guys? Matt Jablonski here with the Point of Change. I hope everybody had a beautiful weekend and are ready for an awesome interview. Somebody's coming on tonight, as always. Every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Central, I bring a guest on to talk about their addiction, their recovery, and any advocacy they do these days. And this weekend, we have an awesome story for you. Mark Foster is joining me tonight. You guys may have seen Mark on other live streams before, or maybe you've seen him right here in the comments, being a bright, shining light, helping you guys out of your problems. So Mark is here tonight to talk about his addiction, his recovery, and everything he's up to nowadays. I'm going to say some good evenings. I almost said good morning, but I'm going to say some good evenings. Welcome to some people to the feed. If you're not watching live, drop me a hashtag replay and still hang out with me. We got an awesome one for you. I would give a shout out to my newest supporter. My newest supporter is my guest tonight, Mark Foster. So Mark's name is on my banner right up there. Mark was 7-14-20. Thank you, Mark, for becoming a supporter. If anybody else is interested in becoming a supporter, you can go to patreon.com/thepointofchange and get signed up with the membership that works for you. Jessica Marie, thank you for joining me. Angie, how are you? Danielle Greer, Pam Schwerman, Caitlin, Patricia, Tanner. How are you, my love? Good. Belinda Moore, how are you tonight? Thomas Heath, good to have you here, brother. Mike Ward, woohoo, this is going to be great. Heck yeah, Mike, it sure is. Josh and Lori, how are you? Melissa Mackey, what's up, fam? What's up, Melissa? Guys, give me some likes, give me some loves, give me some shares out in any addiction groups you may be a part of or onto your own page. And get ready as I welcome tonight's guest, Mark Foster. Throw up every heart in the world for this guy. What's up, buddy?
Hey, guys. What's up?
How you doing tonight, man?
I am awesome. Ready to do this.
You're always smiling, brother. Always.
Hey, that's all you can do, right? Even when you're struggling or whatever you're going through, you got to be able to smile at the end of it.
Heck yeah. What were you going to say? I think I just interrupted you.
No, you didn't. You didn't interrupt me.
Good. I
was just going to ask how you were.
Oh, how am I doing? I'm doing awesome tonight, man. I had a really great weekend. I took both dogs to the dog park today, and Caitlin's here tonight, so it's an awesome night.
That's awesome.
And I get to meet you, so this is even better.
Wait a minute, we video chatted once.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but now I get to actually hear your story. I've never actually heard your whole life story before and what you did.
Oh, wow.
What led to your addiction and your recovery? I've never heard this before.
Wow, I thought you had, but that's okay. I'm glad that you're interested. Well, let's get started with my testimony, and then we'll talk after that. I don't really mind sharing my testimony.
Right on. So how was your childhood? What was it like for you growing up?
My childhood was good. Sort of. Depending on the circumstances. I was born with a birth defect called craniosynostosis, which is a birth defect where my skull was fused before I was born. So growing up, I had to have a lot of head surgeries. I've actually had 48 of them. Yeah, that's insane, right? I'm 28 and I've already had 20 more than my own age.
Yeah, that's nuts, brother.
Yeah, and it was difficult when I was younger because the reason why there were so many surgeries is that I've had a shunt put in my head, and I've had different my skull, because it was fused, it wouldn't grow, and so there was a lot of shaping to be done, skull reconstructions, ear tubes. I pretty much had everything except for brain surgery done on my head. I've had a jaw reconstruction and I've had a nose reconstruction as well. Usually when I go into surgery, I'll pray before. Always been a firm believer in God, even through everything. And everybody would be like, okay, I've had surgeons get shocked because I'm not scared or I'm not nervous or anything like that. It's like, no, not really. I even have my surgeon today going, dude, you have no idea how, like, I don't even know how you do it. Like, you seem chill before surgery and everything.
Well, like you
And
said,
I'm just not scared of going under because I know who's got me in
yeah,
the end,
for sure. And
you
you've
know?
had 48 surgeries in the
Yep.
28 years you've been alive, man, that you kind of get, I suppose it becomes kind of a normal for you.
It was more of a normal when I was younger.
Okay.
By the age of 6, I had actually had 20 done. So every time that they would go in, they would have to like expand my skull, and they would do it on about a year to a year and a half basis.
Okay.
So more surgeries happened when I was about from like birth, or should I say about 2 months to like 15.
Okay.
When I was 15, the whole thing kind of calmed down, slowed down for a little bit. So by the time I was 15, I probably had like 35 already. And then that's about, and then I had like 13 more after that. So, yeah, so
Yeah.
it was difficult,
I
but
can imagine. Everybody in the comments is saying, wow, wow, wow.
yeah, I mean, it's not really, I guess it was normal for me, but because of the sexual trauma and all of the other traumas, it kind of was a difficult childhood to grow up with, being afraid of a lot of things, including men.
Okay.
All of
I
my
can
rapists
imagine.
were men. So I've had 6 times where I've gone through that, all the
Oof.
way up from 2018 and my first one was at 9 years old. So
That's terrible, brother.
um, I'm an advocate for that, for against sexual assault. Um, it was very hard because I was not wanting to go anywhere near males. I would never even talk to anyone. My own father, I stayed away from throughout my childhood. Like I didn't, I respected him in a sense if he needed me to do something, but as for one-on-one interaction or in the same room one-on-one, I would never do it. He understood that. But he didn't know like fully what happened until I was 18. And he passed away when I was 24. No,
Oof.
22.
Yeah, I lost my father a couple years back, so I definitely feel for you on that one.
Oh yeah, no, he was an awesome man. Our relationship didn't mend until I was like 18 when I finally told him, and then shortly after that, I finally got the strength to get near him. But that I think in the last two years, ever since my recovery, I've been getting more and more comfortable with it. Not necessarily talking about traumas with men, no offense, but um, dude, if you knew what I went through, um, but getting more comfortable and reaching out and being able to be open. Like I think the platform that I have is a lot more easier to get open with people than to actually talk one on one.
Okay. Yeah, I
And I know
understand
that's
that.
that's a lot to say. But that doesn't mean that I won't, like, I'm getting better at talking with people about it and talking with men and women. But just trying to grow and trying to get better at that and trying to just be me, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're coming in your, is this your second fight through recovery now? I know you had a
Second,
relapse.
yeah.
Yeah. All right.
This is
Well,
my second.
what are you at now for days?
54. So
54 days. Right on. Guys, throw up some hearts for that right
yeah.
there. 54 days,
Well,
brother. I'm proud
in
of you.
all, if you want in a lifetime sense, this is my third. This is my
Okay.
second time in since 2018.
Okay.
But yeah, so when I was sexually assaulted at 10, I actually started after my third sexual assault at 11. My 10-year-old one was my longest. Um, it happened for a year and 3 months. And then once I got off of that one, I got sexually assaulted again by by a hospital tech in the hospital. And that one was my pet peeve. And then I went into addiction for 5 years at
Okay.
11 years old. So, and then from 16 to 26, I was a year away from my 10-year, and I was sheltered, very, very sheltered. Wouldn't talk to anyone, wouldn't get open if I was in a family event. I still wouldn't, I would still act like a joyful person, like nothing was wrong, but inside I was being destroyed. Wouldn't get open with anyone. No matter who it was. I just was too ashamed of it, too broken and destroyed. And so at 26, I relapsed a year away from my 10-year. And
That sucks, brother.
yeah, it did. I didn't even
I mean,
know
it's a
until
good lesson. You learn, I'm sure you learned something from it, but that always just,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
But honestly, I didn't even keep track of it. So what was weird is that when I first came into 2019, when I came into recovery at the end of 2018 and 2019, my prior clean date was December 28th, 2018.
Okay.
So after that, I actually met some amazing people, and God really showed up. And then it just like I went back and I was trying to timeline everything, and it was really crazy because I remembered when I got clean, I was like, I need to go back. And I looked at some dates with my mom, and my mom didn't know what I was doing, but I knew what I was doing. So I was looking at some dates with mom. And then I actually got to timeline everything, including what day I got clean. So
Okay.
yeah.
That's kind of helpful right there to be able to look back at stuff like that.
Yeah. So my clean date for my 16-year-old was April 5th.
Okay.
April 5th of the 16-year-old, which would be 12 years ago. So that would be 2006, if I remember correctly.
All right.
Yeah,
That's
2006.
great.
I had to think about that for a
That's
second.
crazy cool that you have that much of a timeline. Like me, my timeline is so screwed up when I think back to my addiction and through all of it. I'm
Honestly,
like,
it
I don't
was
even
until
remember it.
2019.
Except
Honestly,
for
it
the
was
times I
so
caught.
screwed up over 2019 because a lot of people don't understand, like, because I was so sheltered, I didn't need to get high.
Okay.
Like, I got high from 11 to 16. And at 16, I actually overdosed and almost passed away. And the house that I was overdosing at was one of my brother's friends, and it was a drug house. And I
Oh.
knew that it was a drug house later on. I didn't know it at first, but I found out that it was a drug. Every single drug that you could ever think of was in that house. But I
Okay.
never touched any of it. I just overdosed outside on the front porch. And I fell out one day, and it was a suicide attempt. And they actually called an ambulance to save my life.
Oh wow. That's
And they
amazing.
came and
That doesn't happen
yeah,
very
they
often.
came, brought me to the emergency room. The doctors gave me Narcan at the hospital. Not, they didn't give it to me on site. My stats were way too low for the Narcan, so they had to like resuscitate. And then they gave me Narcan as soon as I got to the hospital. My stats got up. They did were able to revive me, but they gave me Narcan just to wake me up. And as soon as I got in, it was about an hour or so to wake up and to get fully awake. And then the doctor came in and said, "We know what type of house you were at, and we did your drug screening, and there's nothing there." I said, "There wouldn't be. I only overdosed on pills." They said, "We do know that. We know how many pills you were overdosing on." And they basically made a deal with me. They said, "You can either get clean and go to Park Place, which is the mental hospital here, or you can go to jail as a minor for
Okay.
being at the drug house." And I took the deal, and I went to go get clean.
Awesome.
So
That's an awesome choice right there, brother. So what was that like for you? What was that process going into?
at 16, it was much harder than my 26.
Yeah.
16, I really didn't know what I was getting into. And plus my body didn't get clean before that. So it was much harder. It was a lot of withdrawals, a lot of throwing up, a lot of different things. It was, and plus I didn't really know anybody in that hospital.
Okay.
Before that. So um after when I got clean at 26, I had already had a lot of suicide attempts over the years.
Oh wow.
So yeah, I've got a rap sheet long enough for suicide attempts, about 1,000-fold at the time. Like, I've been in the mental hospital only about 40 times. I probably had over 4,000 suicide attempts, and I have no idea how I'm here.
Wow.
But when I went in at 26, um, I knew the people. Like they were shocked that I was even an addict, but I knew the people. It was a lot easier because I was surrounded by people that I knew.
That
So,
makes
and
sense.
it also had been the hospital that I had done my very first suicide attempt from.
Okay. So
So,
that's
yeah,
kind of a full circle moment there, huh?
yeah. Only they didn't think that I was an addict. That was the thing. When I was overdosing and um, when I came in that last time in 2018, it was like, nah, that they did not even think that. Like, they knew that I had a lot of suicide attempts, but as an addict, nah, they didn't know. And then this last time when I relapsed, I only overdosed once, so I actually did the withdrawals and everything at home.
Oh wow.
I did get ambulance to the hospital um the second night, and so I was actually able to withdraw on my own
Okay.
um with the hospital visit, and then being at home. It was just the withdrawals were done, so I didn't really need to go to the mental hospital that time because I
Okay.
was already basically in the hospital.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense. That makes sense. Wow, man. Wow. Just going through hell repeatedly.
yeah, I mean, I've been through uh quite a lot. I've been through physical abuse, emotional, and um mental abuse. I've been through sexual assault. Um it's all been crazy, but it's like I look at it, and in 2019 or 2018 when I overdosed the first time, I actually overdosed in July. And I remember doing it because I was like, I'm done. I can't deal with this anymore. I had already been through two sexual assaults that had happened at the place where I was living. And it was a motel property, but everybody in there was on parole or probation for sexual assault. So I had already felt uncomfortable being there. Sorry. Um, and so I had actually had a caregiver there too. She ended up being the first one to do anything, and which was unexpected. And she's the only woman that actually did that with me. And then there was another person about 2 weeks later that already did it for a second time. So I had already been through two in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then my uncle ended up calling me and literally just degraded me, called me out, literally mentally and emotional abuse to the max. So I was wanting to be done. So that, like, in July, it was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Um, so I went back and I overdosed. I started overdosing and I could not find a way out. And so I did that for 6 months. I did that until December 22nd. I remember it because I actually went into church high.
Hmm.
I did not. I walked in, and I was only a little bit. I wasn't too far off, but I had my best friend Josh Hernandez. He was in there, and he looks over and he says, "Dude, are you okay?" And I said, "What?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine." He's like, he looks at my eyes because he's a recovering drug addict as well. He looks at my eyes and he goes, "Are you high?" And now he was the only one that actually knew that I was actually high. He's the one that actually ended up taking me to the mental hospital in the first place in 2018.
Oh,
So
amen.
when I got clean, in 2018, it was crazy because about January of 2019, I had already been about 3 weeks in, and I called. Well, I actually had a prayer first, And I said, God, if you can get me, I know that I need to get through this, but if you can do one favor for me and not let me do this alone, then that would be awesome. And I kid you not, 15 minutes later, my cousin calls me. And I was like, darn, what does he want? You know, because he's the cousin of the uncle who just mentally and emotionally abused me. So I have no beef with the cousin unless he wants to get on the phone and beef with me, right? So he calls me and he says, so I heard that you overdosed. And I said, that's an understatement of the world if you think I only did it once. And he's like, how long? I said, for about 6 months. And he said, you need to stop. And I said, okay. Well, he gets me in contact with Nighter the Exciter of anti-bullying. And then it just so happens that people from the anti-bullying site were also friends of Tim Parkinson.
Okay.
So I actually went into Tim Parkinson's live because they invited me. They found out I was an addict because I had said it on Nighter Exciter's live. And Tim Parkinson was actually the first person to welcome me. I had told them that I had already been, I want to say I was 50 days in by the time I went into the live for the first time because I was holding it off. Everybody would invite me and I was like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do it. And then finally something told me to do it. And I swear it was God. And then I said I was 50 days in and I kid you not, the love was awesome. And then at 55 days in, I shared my first testimony for the very first time publicly in Tim Parkinson's live.
That's awesome. Tim was going to be on here in a couple weeks, but he's recently been struggling again a little bit, so he's he might
I've
be
heard.
able to make it here. But
I've heard it.
Prayers for Tim for sure. If guys throw up some hearts
Definitely.
for Tim in the comments. If you guys haven't shared the video yet, make sure you click that share button. Man, wow. And I love that Tim's in your story too.
Yeah, he was the first. He was the first one to him and his followers were actually the first ones to be there as a family. So I've got a lot of love for and respect for Tim. He's the one that got me. Like it was crazy because I wasn't even thinking about sharing my story, and I just said, hey, you know, he was talking about it in the live, and I was like, well, this could either become a total blessing or I could destroy my life with doing it. But I made the decision with doing it. And I never really expected like it to do anything. And that was actually the start of how, you know, spreading my message and being, you know, doing what I do with the post and everything on my page. It's like, it just, that's what started it. And it's like sharing my story and sharing my testimony, you know, that wasn't even in my you know my agenda or whatever. And it was like I just did, and it was so nerve-wracking though. Oh my God, it was nerve-wracking the first time. And I just did, and I was like, I couldn't even believe the love and respect for that too. But it was I say the first time I did it was the hardest time. And then as I did it more, it got easier, you know. But that's what started kind of the doing what I do. It's like it wasn't really it started out like every other day or every week or whatever, and it wasn't really that much of a passion for me as it is now. I did my first post about 60 to 62 days in, and then it just like I got a lot of likes and a lot of love from friends, new friends and stuff like that. And then it just grew. It like grew into something, you know. I just rolled the die on it at first, I tell people, because I really did. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know that this would become like my lifestyle and my passion. It never occurred to me back then. And now it is. It's what I love to do. And I feel like I need to.
Hey, same here, brother. Same here. I started this page on a whim. You know, it was just a thought. I didn't even know what I was getting into. I had no idea that 2 years later I'd be here still doing this, still making videos, you know?
No, I mean, before I got into the recovery community, like I had a max of like 30 friends, and now I have over 2,000, and I have a lot of followers too. It's like, I look back at it and I look at everything that I've got now, and I'm like, gosh, God, I knew God could show up, but dang, you know?
The recovery community will pull you in close, brother. We love you, man. That's for
Oh,
sure.
I have so many people on that list to thank for everything. It's like even when I struggle, people are always there. I try to be there for people in like the best way I can, and I think that the posts are really, really, really good. I have
Yeah.
been told to either write a book or something, but I'm like, I've been told I'm a good writer, but I mean, I just do what I do. I mean, I love doing it.
You definitely have a knack for it, man. I like your posts. I definitely get a positive vibe from you all around, brother. I love the hashtag We Rise. I love it all. It's great.
Oh yeah. That was actually funny because when I did that, I didn't do it at first. And then I was looking around the recovery community and I saw everybody with their hashtags.
Hmm.
I will say that I didn't know how far the 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 storytelling and the posts would go. Like my page has grown really, really good.
Hmm.
So it's been really amazing. But the thing is that I saw everybody having their hashtags and I was like, dang, what the heck can I do? And it was just like I did a hashtag We Rise, and I thought about it, and I was like, it was funny because before I could even do one, I was looking at all the other recovery, and I was like, man, I hope they don't have this hashtag because I really want to use it, I really want to steal it, and nobody had one, and I was like, woo! So yeah.
We Rise. Heck yeah, man. I
Yeah.
like it that it was born.
And
And
I
you,
actually can't take all the credit for that. Solo Sway actually helped me out with that. So
oh, okay.
she's another group in another group that I was in, and she's a good friend, but she's the one that actually like we were just bumping heads and trying to figure out what I could do because she's the one that said, yeah, everybody's got one. Why don't you get one? I'm like, because I don't even know what to think of. Like I just don't know. And if
Yeah.
you really think about it, the hashtag Rise says a lot about rising to the occasion. When you really think about it, you see all these people that are warriors, and there's a lot of people suffering in silence, and I want to be able to reach out to those people with these posts. I love doing it,
Yeah.
and only be like it's for more than one reason, but I think the biggest reason is because if you look back at my life, and if I look back at my life, I used to be one of those people,
Hmm.
being sheltered and all of that. It was just a thing. It was just me, holding everything in. And now that I'm able to share my story, I can definitely say that I was one of those people who suffered in silence. I never talked to it, did it about anyone before 2018 or 2019. It just wasn't a thing. I just never thought that I would be able to, and now I am.
Hmm. That's awesome, man. I'm really glad that you stepped out of the comfort zone and started sharing your story. How has that helped you? Has that helped you look back on things or share?
It's helped me. It
Yeah.
it helps. It goes so the message goes two ways, right? So a lot of what I post does help other people, but what they don't know is that it actually does help me to do it. Um, because of how bad my bipolar and my PTSD from all the stuff, it's like I've got 15 different cases of PTSD and it all flares up and everything. Bipolar, depression, and anxiety. Because of that, what I love doing is actually helping me because whenever I can do something like that, it calms me down. It's
Mhm.
like I'm constantly busy with all the groups and messaging people. I'm literally 24/7 on Facebook unless I'm sleeping. Like I'll sit here and I'll watch TV and I'll still be on Facebook. I'll check Facebook at least 15, 20 times a day. And
I'm
to
the
see where
same way,
everybody's
brother.
at. Yeah, and then I'll message in the groups that I have my own group, We Rise Above It.
Hmm.
So I mean, I'll message in the group chats where I admin for. Um, and then everything else, it's like it's constantly like even my church is like, you stay on Facebook. It's like, yeah, but if you knew what I was doing,
Yep.
you'd see that it's not all like a negative thing. It's like, yeah, sure, I stay on Facebook, but I'm able to chat with other people. Like I'll text a few people a day. It'd be more than a few. I probably text about 10, 12 people a day, and I'll pick different people to text. Sometimes it's all one, sometimes it's different. It just depends.
Yeah, it
um
can be a really wonderful tool for your recovery, but just don't forget about just don't forget about yourself there, buddy, and take care of you too. You know, it's good to take care of
Oh
other
no,
people.
I do. I still go to appointments and stuff. I'll text in when I have appointments and when I have therapy and stuff. I'm still on self-care.
And make sure you put that phone down and take care. You got a new girlfriend now too, I see, in a relationship real recently.
I could have swore I told you that broke off.
Oh, dang. Dang, buddy. I'm sorry to
Yeah.
hear that.
No, it's all good.
You're breaking hearts, Mark. You're breaking hearts.
No, I'm not. That was actually her fault. So I'm not even gonna go there.
Oh, she broke it. We won't talk about that. Oh,
No, we're not going to. You can't pry it out of me.
All right, we'll leave it be. We'll leave it be.
Yeah.
So you just told me right before we started, you told me some good news about, well, it's some bad news in the beginning, and then it turns into some good news about your house burning down in February. And then you
Yeah,
had some good news
so
on that
February 8th, my family's house actually burned down. Which it was negative in a sense that we lost our house, we lost everything. And I actually was in there for about 8 to 10 minutes when the fire started.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, only because of my own free will. Actually wanted to commit suicide in the house.
Oh.
Which is very shameful. I'm very, very terrible feeling about that. But when I first woke up, I heard Steven, my big brother Steven, and he's like, fire. And I was like, wait, what? We've never had a fire. We've lived here for 20 years. What the heck? So I got up, and as I'm waking myself up, I opened the door, and there's a flame coming out of the electrical socket. And Steven's frozen in fear. Like he's a little bit, I can't really explain it. He's got another disease that really he doesn't understand a whole lot. So like he understands to a certain point. It's his own disease. So anyways, I'm tapping him on the back and I'm going, Steven, can you hear me? Because he's frozen. He's like, yeah. I said, go out the hallway, go out the living room, go out the front door and get out. And Owen had already been out, my other brother. And Kelly wasn't home, thank God. But I got this doused out the socket, and I have been packing my stuff up, and the devil was really attacking me. He's like, you don't deserve to be anywhere you are now, and all this shit. So I actually sat on my bed, and I thought for a second, and I was battling him, and all of a sudden, like, there's no smoke in my room, so I didn't think there was any other fires other than the one that's in the socket. I don't even know how the one in the socket started. Well, about 8 minutes in, I'm like, nah, the devil's a liar. See you later. As I'm walking out, the firefighters are getting there and everything. And there had been another fire actually right 2 blocks away from us on 9th Street. So there was 2 fires,
Oh, wow.
2 house fires. And they were believed to be started by someone, like just someone, I don't know who, but they were definitely started by someone because there was 2 houses. So there was no way that was a coincidence. And so as I'm walking out and the firefighters are trying to get us all out, the kids are still upstairs and this whole thing. So the fire actually went up the back. It had been started in the back porch. Somebody threw a glass bottle in the back porch with flames and threw it in our back porch. So it actually went up the back into the roof in the attic and came down on the upstairs. And so while everybody's scrambling to get them out, I actually helped with a few kids, but I actually collapsed after the adrenaline had stopped. I actually collapsed. I did not collapse with the kid in our arms, but what my family does is they take in terminally ill children, and we have 10 of them. There's 10 of us here. There's only about 5 that are terminally ill right now, and the rest of us are disabled. So like getting a bedridden person out of an adult out of the house is pretty hard, especially when you're going upstairs. And the fire escape downstairs to go downstairs out the back had already been on fire.
Oh, wow.
So we had to do it all the way inside, on the inside. And it was like really, really hard. So I actually helped get 3 kids out to the lawn on the front, and we just met. And then after that, I just was so tired, and I didn't think that, I never really thought that I'd be doing that, but I did. And so after the 3rd kid, they helped get the other 2 kids out, and then I finally just collapsed. I literally collapsed and was taken to the hospital myself. But yeah, and then we just got news that about 6 now that we're 7 months later,
Mm-hmm.
um, and we just got news that we're ready to rebuild the new house. So insurance finally got cleared and everything. So we just got to sign the papers, get the physical forms and everything, and just restart. So,
Right on, brother. I
and
mean,
it's
it's still
not
a
going to be
long
like the
road.
other house. This is actually going to be more expensive and really huge. So
Oh yeah.
when it's all built, I'll do a live and I'll walk you guys through it.
Heck
And
yeah, brother.
yeah, it's definitely going to be amazing.
That's
So
awesome. That's awesome. I'm glad to have a happy ending to that part of your story, brother, for sure.
yeah, that was definitely something that was hard also, because when the fire happened, and not only the PTSD from that, but it sparked every other PTSD. So I was struggling with my sobriety. I was not wanting to give up or pick up at the time, but it was a battle at the time.
Definitely.
So
Definitely. I'm glad you pushed through, man. I'm glad you're back up to 54 days. That's awesome.
yep.
Heck yeah. So what are you going to change this time? What'd you learn from this last slip up?
Well, the last slip up happened because of doubt.
Okay.
So that was the main cause. It was doubt. It was me not thinking that I was either worth it, or I didn't think that I could go on. I had 532 days when I relapsed, and I just didn't think that, going on. I don't know exactly what happened to make that doubt come, only that I had a lot going on physically, and it was just like draining me. I had already been told that the cancer cells on my Barrett's disease could have sparked, which they didn't.
Thank God.
But at the time I was in testing. And then I had uh, a couple of shunt errors. Not errors, but like they were checking my shunt and all this, and so everything kind of just overflowed. Um, and I also had my seizures started back up again, so that was pretty scary.
Okay.
They were happening at night, so with all this, and then having to deal with all the PTSDs from the fire, I was just like, I don't know how I can go on. I really don't know how much more I can take. And
Yep.
then that doubt was just enough doubt to overdose for a suicide attempt. Um, and I was just crying. I couldn't. It was in the middle of the night too, so that was kind of just really bad because I didn't want to wake anybody up. And then I ended up overdosing that night, and the next day I went to the hospital. The next evening, so I actually stayed in bed for 24 hours. And I have to say thank you to everyone who posted and everything, because my Facebook lit up. I was not conscious enough to know that people were checking on me, because I was really my body was gone. The overdose really did a number to my body. And I was just sleeping it off for the whole day. I heard nothing. I did not know anything. And then when I woke up, and my mom was gonna call for the emergency room because my stats were low and everything, and it was like when I woke up and finally did check my phone, I did not know that I had sent Facebook into a fear war, because I had posts checking on me. I had Messenger. I mean, Messenger was already like 20 people on Messenger trying to check up on me. But I was really weak as well. So I called Michelle Phelps and I said, "Look, I'm on my way to the hospital. I'm sorry that I didn't get to anyone, but I had nothing. I had no post. I had been inactive on Messenger for like 24 hours." And everybody was like panicking that Mark left
Huh?
the world or just
Well, we
disappeared
worry
from
about you, brother.
reality. So,
Yep. Yep.
yeah, I never knew that could happen. So I make sure now Now I make sure that everyone, or at least, some people, a few people know that if I'm going to be away from Facebook, that if anybody wants to post on my Facebook going, what the heck is Mark? Or how is Mark? I haven't heard from him, then they can text on that and go, he's
Mm-hmm.
fine, he's just in this or whatever. So I'm making sure that I'm more active than usual, but I did not expect. But I appreciated it
Yeah.
that day. I appreciated it a lot because in the last 54 days, I have seen a lot of love, and I have seen a lot of appreciation for everything. And I'm overwhelmed. I am really overwhelmed in good emotions with everything. I love doing what I'm doing, and I will continue to do so. And I'm just gonna get back in the race and just try to do it better. I mean, I'm just really just thinking about, doing everything right. And it's like fixing that doubt, not having that doubt again, making sure that I don't get in that mindset again, knowing that I can reach out whenever I need to, that I got to get better at that too. I'm terrible at that. Um, oh God, I'm terrible. Um, but just
That's
getting better
something we can
at the
all
things
get
that I
better
need to
at.
get better at.
Yeah, yeah. Getting better at that reaching out to something we can all benefit from. I know myself, I don't reach out as much as I need to too. So, but
Yeah.
just remember to put that phone down every once in a while and spend some time on yourself as well. Because, like I
Oh, I
said,
do. Oh,
oh,
I do.
good,
I
good.
do.
Glad you do,
Because if
brother.
I'm not on Facebook, the thing is that if I'm not on Facebook, I wouldn't say that, okay, I should retract that statement that I'm on there 24/7 unless I'm sleeping, because I do take a couple of hours during the day and just listen to music and watch some anime and stuff. So I do
There
take
you go.
spare time
Good.
and
Got to have a little
reflect
bit of
on,
self care.
different things and things like that. So I do take self-care every day. I
Good.
usually do. So
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So, what's the next step from here, Mark? What's the next step with everything?
the next step is just, continuing to do what I do. I know that the page is really huge right now. I didn't but I would like to say that I just do not like that Facebook fame for me is really ridiculous. I've had some haters on me going that, I'm just doing it for fame or fortune or anything like that. Guys, you should see my bank account from the
Mhm.
timeline that I've been doing this shit. I am broke, and I do not care about Facebook fame. I really don't. I do what I do because I love doing what I do. I love spreading my message. I believe wholeheartedly in my message and my post. Every single one that I have written, I just believe in it because I know where I've been, and I just want to help people that, that don't feel like they're worth it, or don't feel like they're loved, or don't feel like they're enough, or, don't have a purpose or don't have a reason, because all of the stuff that I say in my message, I have felt that. I have
Mhm.
felt, not loved, not worth it, not having a reason, not having a purpose, not enough at times. It's like it's definitely a struggle for me. And it was really, really a struggle when I was, before I was in recovery. And I found out that, I don't need to feel that way. And when I came into recovery in 2019, I didn't have to feel that way anymore. I made amazing friends who are now family, and I just love doing what I do. And I think I'm just going to continue doing what I do and hopefully get into recovery events all over the United States, meet some people. I know I made a post that if anybody wants to meet me face to face, I'm making a trip out here in February. So hopefully February or March, I'll be able to make that trip. And then, just being able to be a part of the recovery world more. I haven't been able to make physical events, but I'm hoping to. So we'll just see where God leads me and where everything else leads me.
Heck yeah, brother. That's the best attitude to have right there. Just follow that path, man.
Yeah.
You're always staying
So
positive, so I know you're going to do good things too.
always trying to be.
Always.
Um, yeah, it's just been, a long, tough road of life. And, if you can't make the best of it, then what are you doing? I always try to tell people, at least in, some posts, and a lot of my posts actually, that you need to, reach out there and live your best life. Um, don't let anyone, tell you that you can't do something, because I've let the devil tell me that all the time when I was younger, before this recovery. And now I'm like sitting here going, I can't believe I'm doing this, but I'm doing this. And this is something that I never thought I would be able to do. Like before recovery, doing my message and things like that, I never thought that I was like, in a sense, worth it to be able to tell other people these things. And then it's like, nah, you can do that. But I do believe that it's not only just a passion, but I do believe it's my purpose, because I want to be able to spread my message. I want to be able to tell people, hey, I've been where you're at when it comes to traumas and things like that. And it's like, yeah, I've been there. Let me help you. You know, I mean, I have people telling me on my posts that I'm really amazing, and thank you for that. But I'm just out here doing what I love. I absolutely love doing it. I feel wholeheartedly, and I really, really, absolutely love doing it. I wouldn't want to be doing anything else, honestly.
Right on, brother. And I'm happy you are doing it. That's good to find a passion. It's good to find a purpose. There ain't nothing wrong with spreading your message. Ain't nothing wrong with telling your story.
Yeah, I know that. And I'm actually physically and mentally disabled, and people don't realize that until they actually hear my story. And there's not a whole lot that I can do physically. I have to, be careful with what I do physically. But when it comes to doing everything on Facebook, I really don't, it doesn't really, affect me as in tiredness and stuff like that. I'll just have a regular schedule, and it's really not I love doing it. It's, if I wasn't able to do it, then I wouldn't, but I'm glad I'm able to.
Right on, brother. Right on. Well, you got about 13 more minutes here. If you got anything else you want to say here, brother, I don't have any more questions for you.
Uh, I want to say thank you to everyone. I want to say thank you to you, Maddie. I really do, because I wouldn't be the same man I am right now if it wasn't for you and everyone else being able to be there for me. Um, the growth happens when you're surrounded by people who are family. That is my wholehearted belief. And I have met people, I have grown in ways that I never thought I would be able to. And without God and without everyone here, I wouldn't be able to do the things that I'm doing. I wouldn't have like my self strength, my own strength wasn't cut it. It really wasn't there when I first started. Like anybody who knows me before, to the end of 2018 would understand that. Like I never had that self-worth or that belief in myself that I would be able to do things like this. And it was because it wasn't just me wanting to start a message or trying to start this page. It was because that I had been told by people that say, hey, you got a gift, use it. And they kept on pressing on and saying, yo, you need to keep on doing this. And at first, that's why I said it was a roll of the die, because I never really, I was like, nah, I'm not going to continue. And then it just because of people, saying, no, you need to do this. This is a gift. You need to inherit this, and you need to do it. And then as it just grew into a passion. And I would not be able to be, doing this today if it wasn't for everyone that is on my page or our family to me. It's amazing in a sense.
Mm-hmm. Amen, brother. Amen. I thank these guys all the time for helping me do what I do. If it weren't for you guys, supporting me on Patreon, buying my merchandise, and sharing my videos, liking and loving my content, I wouldn't be able to continue to do this. So I thank these guys all the time. And you're a part of that too, Mark. So thank you for being a supporter here on The Point of Change. And you're always liking and loving and sharing my videos and my other content.
I'm loving your videos and sharing them all over the place.
And now you're an official Patreon supporter, one of the founding members of Patreon. So I really love having you on there, brother. It's good to have you
I'm
in my
glad I
group.
was able to. I'm glad I was able to. I really am.
Right on, brother. It's good to have you good to have you on my team.
Yeah. I was so excited for this opportunity to be able to go live with you, because you are really a huge part of my recovery as well. I love coming into your lives. I know that I don't make all of them, but I love your raw sense of humor is probably my best. I mean, yeah, it was just like, are you sure you're supposed to be out here and not in the mental hospital right now, sir?
I agree.
I was like, I've never
Sometimes
met
I'm
a
a little nuts.
person who's more effing insane than me. And then I met you, and it's like, what?
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad I pushed the limits of what's normal around here on Facebook, Mark.
I'm sorry, normal? What? Hold on. Push
Okay,
the
so I'm
limits of
way outside.
normality. No, you
Way
push the limits of insanity.
outside. Good. Good. That's what we're going for. We're pushing boundaries, brother. We're breaking boundaries. Oh. Well, thank you for being here tonight, Mike. Thank you for
Hey, it's
giving me
my
some time and
pleasure.
coming
It's
on
like
here.
I've said in the post that I've tagged you in. I'm very grateful, blessed, honored, and very happy to be able to do this. Being able to come live with you is I've been excited ever since you first asked me. I was like, man, can it get to September 6th yet? And then, my brother Carl Foster's birthday was actually today. We spent the days hanging around with him. And then I'm like, and then I'm looking at my watch for the last 3 hours going, when the heck is this time gonna come on? Let's go.
Time just goes
So,
so slow when you got something to look forward to, right?
oh God, I hate that.
Well, now we did it. Was it everything you wished it would be?
Yes, I am very, very glad that I could come live with you and you could just ask me questions. I'm an open book now. I never was before, but I love being able to, if my testimony can help others, then hey, that's what I love to do. That's what I love about, living this life that I never dreamed of. It's literally a life that I never thought I'd be living. And now that I'm living it, I'm taking every moment and just going away with it and living the best life that I can.
Right on, brother. I'm going to let you go. You keep on living that best life. Thank you for sharing with us tonight, brother.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Have a good night, man.
Love y'all.
Love you, bud. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The Point of Change meets Mark Foster. I loved having him on here. That was what an inspirational story and what an awesome guy. So down to earth, so intelligent, like so just all around cool. Mark he's just awesome. And I love having him here in the comments. I love having Mark as one of my supporters. If any of you guys are interested in becoming a supporter of The Point of Change, you can go over to patreon.com/thepointofchange and select the membership that works for you. If you sign up at the platinum level, you get your name and your recovery date added to my banner behind me. We got 20 names and recovery dates up there right now. We're going to try to get to 100, and then we're going to continue this. And as this Patreon thing grows, we're going to be helping more and more people. And it's already been helping people in so many ways through donations that we've made to other nonprofit and charity organizations and through the people themselves being in part of this group. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I will see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. right here on The Point of Change. Until then, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay clean.